What is a mesothelioma law firm? A mesothelioma law firm helps victims determine whether they can file a lawsuit against the manufacturers of asbestos-containing products. These manufacturers knew that asbestos could cause workers and the general public to get sick, but hid the truth for decades to make a profit. Mesothelioma law firms work to bring these manufacturers to justice and retrieve compensation for victims. Anyone diagnosed with mesothelioma should reach out to a law firm as soon as possible. There is limited time to take legal action, and mesothelioma law firms may be able to file lawsuits for victims before time runs out. What a mesothelioma law firm does. A mesothelioma law firm does almost all of the legal work so victims can focus on their health and spending time with their families. Below, learn more about how a mesothelioma law firm may be able to help you. Mesothelioma law firms do not rely on only lawyers to file mesothelioma claims. An entire team of medical and legal professionals will be assigned to work on your case. These legal teams consist of attorneys, investigators, medical experts, paralegals, support staff. Each member of the team has specific knowledge that can help build your case. The team will first gather details about your asbestos exposure and mesothelioma diagnosis and determine if the law firm can help you file a claim. Further, the team will guide you on which documents must be signed so your asbestos claim can be processed. Build support for your claim. If the law firm believes it can help you, your legal team will gather supporting evidence for a claim. During this phase, the team will determine if you worked on a job site that exposed other victims to asbestos, what asbestos-containing products may have caused your illness, identify and obtain other needed medical records and work information. In some asbestos cases, the law firm may be able to use information from previous victims they have represented to strengthen a current claim. File a claim. Once the team has gathered all the information they need, your claim will be filed. Mesothelioma claims typically fall into the following categories: lawsuits filed against the manufacturers of asbestos-containing products and asbestos trust fund claims. The team will determine which manufacturers may have caused your illness and take appropriate legal action against them. If the company is still in business, an asbestos lawsuit may be filed. If the company has filed for bankruptcy, they cannot be sued, but they may have an active asbestos trust fund to compensate victims. Claims are often filed against multiple manufacturers with asbestos trust funds or through a lawsuit, depending on which manufacturers exposed a victim to asbestos. Helps victims receive compensation. Once a claim has been filed, the law firm will work on your behalf to receive compensation. Compensation is typically secured by reaching settlements with the manufacturers that are still in business or by filing a successful asbestos trust fund claim. Mesothelioma compensation can help pay for counseling and support services, funeral and burial costs, living expenses, medical expenses for treatments, physical therapy, travel expenses associated with treatment, wages lost due to inability to work. Compensation is not limited to the costs associated with mesothelioma and can be used for anything once you receive it. You could possibly receive money within a matter of months, depending on what manufacturers or trust funds are named in your claim. It is likely that you will receive checks at several different points throughout the process. You will need to sign legal documents to release these funds after compensation is secured. The faster you sign and submit these documents, the sooner you can receive compensation. What to look for in a mesothelioma law firm. Experienced mesothelioma law firms should always put the needs of victims first. With that in mind, here is what anyone should look for when trying to find the mesothelioma law firm that is best for them. Free consultation and no upfront costs. A victim's relationship with a mesothelioma law firm should begin with a free in-person consultation. This consultation will help victims learn about the law firm and the experience of its team members. During this consultation, a mesothelioma law firm will typically send a representative to meet the victim to discuss the case at a place of their choosing. Victims should not have to pay any upfront fees if they decide to work with the law firm after this first meeting. Mesothelioma law firms work on a contingency fee basis, meaning they only get paid if they successfully secure compensation for victims. Years of experience. Asbestos-related lawsuits have been filed for decades, so the mesothelioma law firm a victim works with should also have decades of experience handling this case type. Mesothelioma lawyers. Mesothelioma law firms work with skilled lawyers who know how to best handle asbestos lawsuits. Experienced mesothelioma lawyers have spent years representing victims. Mesothelioma lawyers should have dedication and passion for helping anyone suffering from a mesothelioma diagnosis, access to a massive database of evidence, asbestos products, and locations, broad knowledge of asbestos litigation, high-risk occupations, and jurisdiction rules. Victims are encouraged to seek out law firms that have mesothelioma attorneys on staff. General lawyers that work at local law firms may not be able to file a claim in the state that maximizes a victim's compensation. Medical knowledge of mesothelioma. The best mesothelioma law firms have access to the latest knowledge and information from medical experts who work directly with mesothelioma patients. These medical experts understand mesothelioma signs and symptoms, each stage of the disease, expected outcomes of a diagnosis, treatment options, clinical trials that study new ways to diagnose and treat this cancer. Medical experts will be assigned to work on a mesothelioma victim's case as part of their dedicated trial team. Nationwide reach. Sometimes, the best state for a victim's claim may not be the one where they live. Mesothelioma law firms can help determine which state may award victims with the most amount of compensation in the shortest amount of time. Further, national mesothelioma law firms understand the regulations for lawsuits and asbestos trust fund claims in almost any state. This helps reduce possible legal roadblocks and may increase the amount of compensation a victim receives. Success in securing top settlements and verdicts. Successful mesothelioma law firms have helped thousands of victims obtain mesothelioma settlements or verdicts. The law firm a victim works with should have a proven track record of helping other victims receive compensation. Most lawsuits will be settled out of court, and victims can expect to receive $1 million on average from mesothelioma settlements. Some cases may award more or less than this number. In rare cases, a lawsuit may go to trial if a settlement can't be reached. Asbestos lawsuit trial verdicts typically award an average of $2.4 million, but there is no guarantee that the victim and/or their loved ones will have a successful case. Personal touch. The period following a mesothelioma diagnosis is one of pain and uncertainty. Time does not stop, and there are hard decisions that need to be made. Mesothelioma law firms understand that each person harmed by asbestos has their own story. They treat victims with compassion, working on their behalf and delivering strong results. Asbestos industry knowledge. Receiving compensation with a legal claim requires complex documentation and significant research. Mesothelioma law firms should have in-depth information about asbestos companies to strengthen cases. Key information about the asbestos industry includes the companies that produced asbestos-containing products, when the products were used, which job sites carried a high risk of asbestos exposure, which companies have established asbestos trust funds. Mesothelioma law firms with decades of experience have tracked the asbestos industry closely. The best firms have databases worth of information, including what asbestos-containing products each manufacturer made and which manufacturers are still in business.